Cool. I am Brian Jones, and I am coached to win.
Ooh, you said it all smooth.
Denzel on that ass.
Go get me some knowledge.
I was thinking about you a lot today, just doing a lot, trying to do as much research as I could. And I'm amazed you have a shirt on right now.
Why?
I could not find a picture of you where you didn't have a shirt on. Every single
What?
picture of you where, yeah, listen, I can send them to you. I'm going to play them or I'm going to add them to the show. yeah.
What?
No shirt.
You gotta be kidding
No
me.
pictures in the newspaper. You had a Soul Glow that was going like big time. You had no shirt and Soul Glow. Those are the two things. I was like, wow, I'm going to start with Soul Glow and no t-shirt.
What the hell type of internet do you have? You got a different Google.
I thought it was funny. I want to go back. You played Pop Warner football, right? Like you can't grow up in Texas and not play Pop Warner football.
Yep.
What was young Brian Jones?
Here it is right here, man.
You have your old Pop Warner football helmet? What is that?
That's Pop Warner team, number 64. That's me.
Oh, offensive lineman.
I played offensive line and I played middle backer.
Oh, that's fabulous. That is great. Oh, I love that.
All those afros.
Oh, yeah. Was that before you were BJ or were you BJ back then?
Listen, I grew up P.O.
Yeah.
So back then, my nickname was Begging Brian. Begging Brian. I go to the boys club. I go to friends' house. I was always begging for some food, something to drink. Give me some of your Kool-Aid, something. There was no shame in my game. So my boy TC, they called me Begging Brian.
Oh, that's the best. So that picture, what was the name of your team? That picture that you just showed me.
We were American Legion Post 808 Panthers.
The Panthers. Okay.
Panthers.
Was that your first year playing tackle football?
Yes. 10 years old. Yes.
And what was that like? I mean, did you love it right away?
Oh, yeah. Going back to being Poe, first of all, I couldn't afford the registration fee. I couldn't afford to buy a helmet, a cleat. So the gentleman in the neighborhood, Coach Jones, and he was like a father to me, took care of all that. I had some two little cleats. That's why my feet are jacked up to this day. Because I had some cleats and one of my teammates, one of my homeboys, he still gets on me about it. He still jokes about me run because we had this hill we had to run at May Simmons Park in LA, Lubbock area. That's how we refer to Lubbock, Texas. Sounds more metropolitan.
It does.
But dude, I had those two little cleats. But I wanted to be out there. That's how important it was to me. So I took that pain at an early age, even though my feet were being jacked up. And the first time I ever cussed was on Pop Warner football field. Ashy Bernard Anderson. Bernard was like someone that just dipped him in chalk. That's how ashy he was. But he was big. You know what them brothers,
yeah.
You look at him like he ain't got to lift one weight.
No.
He's just different.
Lucky. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's lucky. He has never done a power clean.
That was Bernard at 10, 11 years old, man. And he was playing fullback, and I hit him, and I got my first stinger. Oh. First time I cussed, and my first stinger ever was Pop Warner football. Go figure. And hell, dealt with the rest of my career.
The stingers?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I feel like it's some guys are just, it's like the worst 10 seconds of pain in your life. You feel like whatever, it's your neck, right? And your whole neck's on fire. Somebody's got a blowtorch right there. And then it slowly goes away.
Yes. I think one of your did you play with Sam Gash with the Patriots or was he gone?
No, he was gone.
Yeah. So my senior year at Texas, we're playing at Penn State. He's there. Leroy Thompson, the running back who went on to play for the Steelers. Gash with the Patriots. He may have played with one other team. They run the opening kickoff back to about the 1. First play of the game, they run ISO. I hit him. And to your point, my whole side went numb.
Yeah.
Everything is just done. First play of the damn game of my senior year. But you have to stay out there. You just tough it out and shake it off in those 35, 25 seconds, but it is weak the entire rest of the season.
Yeah.
You
Um,
just have to deal with it.
I want to go back because at 10 years old, there's already a man in your life making a difference. That's one of your coaches. You said his name was Coach Jones.
Arthur Gut Jones. But all those guys, Coach Barry, Fulton Barry, taught us life lessons. We needed a ride. There was this bridge from the practice field over to the projects where I lived, and so he would give us a ride every now and then. But one day he was giving us a ride, and we were just dogging his car, man. It was
He's
raggedy.
driving you, and you're ripping him for his wheels, his
Me and
mode
my
of
brother
transportation that you are, and he's
ripping
taking
him,
you.
and he put our asses out as he should have.
Good.
Get out, put us out. So we had to walk. Lesson. Hey, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. So yeah, Coach Jones. You had Coach Barry, Coach Gatewood, Coach Davis. All those guys had families of their own, but they took in a little snotty nosed kid named Brian Jones, and they were the father figures. Because I have never, to this day, Christian, laid eyes on my father. I hired a private investigator. We're still involved. We thought we had gotten close about 2 years ago, man, and we were going down the wrong path, and so we started over. So we're still involved, but been difficult. So those were the father figures in my life. They were always coaches. They were always teachers.
I didn't know that about you, and
Mhm.
which makes this series that I'm doing with you even more important because that's when you were 10. And I'm assuming that every step of the way, there was somebody in your life, some coach in one of the sports that you're playing, because you played everything in high school and then you just focus in on football when you got into college and into the pros. I'm amazed you remember every single coach when you were 10. Were those guys there your entire Pop Warner career until you got to high school?
Yes, yes, yes. And we just lost Coach Terrell, who coached our wide receivers. Those guys, they were there. Some of them died earlier than expected, but yeah, they were there throughout the entire Pop Warner season. Coach Reyes, see his face, man. We had a heck of a Coach Hunt, R.D. Hunt. I mean, it was this eclectic group of men, black and Mexican and white, and it just worked because we all rallied around the sport of football. And this was the first time there had been a Pop Warner League on our side of town. So we were the first iteration of Pop Warner football, and so there was a ton of excitement, and we were damn good.
Yeah,
And you had this primarily black team
that
that would
helps.
play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that helps.
And we played the primarily white team.
Yeah.
I mean, they ain't no primarily; they were all white. The Cowboys, and we were the Panthers.
Yeah.
And so, the first year they won regular season, we won the Super Bowl against them in the rematch. Second year, we won the regular season game; they won the Super Bowl. And then our last year, Pop Warner bastards beat us both regular and
Yeah.
Super Bowl. But still communicate with some of those guys to this day. But yeah, man, those were the formative years, and the only father figures I knew. And it's something that bothered me for a long, long time. That and some other things that transpired during my youth that I had to eventually come to terms.
Take me to one game at some point in time before you get into high school. We'll move to high school because I think what's really unique is how important these guys were in your life. Was there a situation where they had to say something to you, where they had to encourage you some way or the other? Do you remember any situation like that?
I remember a negative situation
Sure.
when I
You can
was
learn
at
from those as well.
UCLA. Yeah, and I was at UCLA, and I was contemplating transferring.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, my whole life I've been a Longhorn, dude. They'd come to Lubbock and play Texas Tech. We sit in the grass seats and cheer for the Longhorns and jump on the field after the game, get the sweaty wristbands. Well, we did that after every game, especially when Texas was in town. So I always wanted to be a Longhorn. Long story short, I'm being recruited. Uh, the year I'm being recruited is the same recruiting season when SMU gets the death penalty. So everyone in the Southwest Conference at the time is being investigated, or is being investigated, or either or is on probation. I go out to UCLA like, damn, this is different, and they're winning at the time. So I signed with UCLA, just won like their third straight Rose Bowl, and I had a blast. I played as a freshman All American. Did have back surgery following my freshman season. Only played 3 games my sophomore year. But the the whole time I was there, I was still longing to be a Longhorn, even though they were down.
Were you homesick?
And at times homesick, yes, but still, I had a girlfriend out there. Everything was lovely. We had NIL back then, even though it was under here.
Undercover,
So
undercover.
yeah.
That is amazing that so you got caught up in the lights, in the glitz, in the Hollywood lifestyle, and the beach, and everything that came along with the city of Westwood, where UCLA is. So a good old boy from the back streets of Texas got convinced that LA was the place for him.
That and a couple other guys. That year was a big coup because you had 3 blue chip players from Texas signed with UCLA. Charles Arbuckle, former tight end,
Yeah.
played in the league. Reggie Moore, wide receiver, played in the league. Coaches now at Prairie View, and Charles calls games for ESPN. So it was a big coup to get us 3. So I had homeboys, and we were all roommates there. What's up, homie? Hey, say hi. Oh, you can't. They can't see you. One of my dogs trying to get up here. So yes, at times got homesick, but they did a good job of making sure I got home whenever I needed to get home. So that was cool. But I wanted to be a Longhorn, man. And this one particular Arthur Gut, like a pops, man, he got on me. When you give someone your word, you stick to your word, and you stay committed. And he was, God, he was rough. He really got down on me, and uh, excoriated me for choosing to leave.
Well, what
But
happened?
my
What happened
heart,
that was so bad that it wasn't just
nothing.
homesick. So nothing happened. You said there was
No,
something negative that happened.
no,
So nothing happened.
no, no, no. That was the negative. His reaction was the negativity.
Oh, so that's
That's
so
what I
you
was
were
saying.
so you felt shame is what you're telling me.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. That was the negativity. And so uh, his reaction to me transferring, that was really the first time. I mean, he got on us at times for look petty stuff, kids being kids, but I had never seen that type of ire and disdain from him, at least towards me, when I made that decision. But it all worked out in the end, and things worked out in Texas. But yeah, that was a learning lesson, and I tried to hold on to that when I'm sitting here and I work, and I am opining on these young men who are hopscotching across the country in today's transfer world. Once or twice, 3 and 4 times, y'all are tripping, man. Sit somewhere, be still, and work your butt off to become the starter. That's how I feel. But everyone's situation is different. But yeah, that's the negativity I was referencing, was his response to
Oh,
me wanting to
okay. Okay.
transfer.
And his opinion obviously meant a lot to you. Terry Donahue at the time was at UCLA.
Yep.
And was it David Williams that was at Texas?
McWilliams, David
David
McWilliams.
McWilliams.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there a coach there that you kind of leaned on as well?
Hmm.
If you have to think about it, the answer is no. That's my general rule. If you have to think about it, the answer is no. Because I think like you were able to rip off 3 coaches from when you were 10 years old. And I asked you
Yeah.
about UCLA or Texas, and you're like, well, I don't know. The answer is no, which is fine. Which is totally
Hey,
fine.
I like to think. I know you'll find this odd, but I like to think before I speak. And I know you'll think that I'm lying when I say it, because usually I am. No, 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 no. You're right. No. So no.
That's not for everybody because looking back at you, I was like, I wonder what type of coaching you responded to.
What do you think?
Well, I have a hard time believing it was somebody yelling and cussing at you. If I was to guess what type of, it would have to be some sort of motivation by encouragement, is what I would think.
All types, man. I want to be coached hard, and I've been
Okay.
coached. My other father figure was my linebacker coach. defensive coordinator in high school who became my head coach in high school, and he was also my head baseball coach in high school. Jerry Lee. He just was. I got inducted into the Lubbock Athletic Hall of Fame this summer. He was there to present me along with the guy called Father Dr. Hill, present me with my trophy. But let me give you my first year in high school on the baseball team. We're playing this tournament at Lubbock Christian University, and we're taking infield, Christian,
Yeah.
and I'm chucking it all over the dang diamond. I'm playing first base, and I can't hit a third baseman, a shortstop, no one. The ball is flying all over the damn place, rag arm. Coach Lee gives me the most intense cursing dress downs ever. Ever. Oh, I can remember it as if it happened this morning. This dude just, and I had to take it. I respected him
Mm.
because all the guys that came before me that had played for him had already warned me what type of coach he was, but they said he was hard, but he was fair. And fast forward till I'm a senior and I got whatever the hell I wanted from him. You know, when Walter Payton comes out with the kangaroo kicks, he got me a pair of kangaroo kicks because I had earned my keep, as you know, we have to do in this meritocracy called
Yeah.
sports. So, but God, he coached us hard, man. I'll give you an example. One game, high school, I had like 26 tackles, and I'm feeling good about myself. Coach Lee, well, he should have. Hell, we were on the field long enough. That was him. So he got on us hard, but still to this day, love him to death. Spend time with him, but always when he was still teaching, coach speak to his kiddos at his school. At Texas, it was Coach Fuller, our defensive coordinator, coached us hard. Coach Fuller played for Bear Bryant. Enough said.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
played for Bear
Junction
Bryant.
boys. Was he there at Texas A&M
No,
or,
he was at
or is that
Alabama.
Alabama? All right.
Yeah, but still, so he was hard on us, and but he did it in a way. It was serious. It's similar with someone just said, "I'm disappointed in you." You know how that stings.
Yeah.
I'd rather someone just give it to you and berate you and all that. I am so disappointed. That's
Well,
how
here's
serious
the
his
thing.
criticisms were.
Here's the thing with what I think about with you. So the only reason why I think you didn't jump ugly when your coach started yelling and screaming at you when you were playing baseball because you trusted him. You
Yeah.
respected him. If you don't trust him or respect him, if you don't think that he has your best interest at heart and he really means well, there's not a chance in hell the guy that I know is going to take that at all.
Bingo. You hit the nail on the head. And I always tell these young kids when I get an audience with them that once that coach stops getting on you, that's when you should be concerned.
Mhm.
Now, there are some that are just assholes and
Yeah.
they like to scream. And I've had those as well. And I didn't respect them as much. And yes, there were times where you wanted to just strangle those particular coaches, but you learn to deal with them. But the ones that were hard on you, but they were fair and they coached you well, yeah, you're right. I trusted them, and their reputation was well earned, and I had some insight into who they were. So that is how it should be. So I'll say television. When Tim Weinkoff, our
Yeah.
producer, when
Hmm.
Tim came over, became our producer on Inside College Football way back when. First thing I said to him, make me better. And Tim, as you know, can be abrasive. Tim is a different cat, and he's got a different personality, and you have to get to know him to appreciate that personality. But he's as dry as they come. He's a Belichick. He don't give you much, man. So you got to know how to work with it. But he is fair. He has your back, and he's going to drive you to be better, and he'll guide you and direct you. And I said to him, make me better. I want to be coached.
As you're getting older, now you're in the pros, right? You go to the Colts, the Dolphins, the Raiders. There's a year in there where I think you got hurt. You
Saints.
played for the Scottish Claymores, BJ.
Yep.
The Scottish Claymores. Do we need an after hours late night show just to talk about what existed out there during that time in your life? Your beginning of your career feels like very transient, and you can't really catch on. You're fighting, you're getting hurt. They send you to Scotland, and then you finally land with the Saints, and that's your longest tenured team with the
Yep.
most opportunities you had in your career.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt. And you're right. I was like my man in the movie Life, can't get right.
Yeah.
And I had some injuries in college. Of course, the back injury at UCLA, a knee scope at Texas, but stingers and other little things that go along with playing the game. But get to the pros, and they just start stacking injury upon injury. High ankle sprain here, and this, that. It was just crazy. Like, where's all this coming from? So Al Davis cut me 3 times. He liked me, then he didn't like me. And I did play for the Colts one season. Then I go to the Dolphins. I get hurt again, and finally, Jim Haslett, who was my position coach with the Raiders, said, "Man, you need to go over to Scotland, play a season over there. We'll set it up." And to his word, he did. Came back. He was with the Saints at that time, so I signed with the Saints, and the rest is history. But yeah, it was difficult, and even at the end of my career, injuries bit me. I'm in the best shape of my freaking life, dude. And man, it was just God humbling you because I'm 30 at the time. I'm running a 4.5 flat. I got muscles in my crack. I mean, I'm just. I spent that whole offseason. Dick had just taken over with the Saints. I
Yeah.
spent the whole offseason in LA and working out at Gold's Gym, the world renowned Arnold
Not the one on
Schwarzenegger.
Venice Beach, right? You weren't working on a Venice Beach
Yes,
with your
yeah,
shirt
my
off.
man
Of
Bingo,
course you were.
my
Of
man Bingo, your
course.
teammate, me and Fife, Fife, and
Oh, Roman Pfeiffer.
me and
Okay.
Fife, 'cause Fife and I are teammates at UCLA. So Fife is out there, and so I got with his sprint track coach. This dude had me in the best shape of my life, and then Bingo, my guy over at Gold's Gym, I wanted to get a more muscular foundation. He had the biggest legs in the gym. This Vietnamese dude.
Yeah.
So Bingo hooks me up, and then dude playing the freaking Chiefs in one of those.
Preseason
Those
games.
no, it wasn't even the preseason game. Those inter squad scrimmages, where they come and
Oh,
visit
yeah,
you at
yeah,
camp.
yeah.
Got high load, man. It was a bunch of bullshit. Dude, I got high load and tore my ACL. I was in great shape. Oh man. But anyway, I digress. All things
Yeah.
happen for a reason. But yeah, I finally got with the Saints, found myself, and here's the key is I had to learn how to become a pro. That was my issue. It's one thing to love the life and everything that comes along with it. Not like I was a high pick or anything, but still, when you get into that brotherhood, it's a different thing. But I had to grow up and learn how to become a pro. And just as I'm doing that, I get the ACL injury.
What do you think goes into a good coach, a good teacher? What kind of attributes do you think those guys have?
First of all, they know their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're smart. You've got to be smart, and you have to be able to convey that aptitude through your leadership. And you can't be, as we were just discussing, a guy that just wants to get out there and yell just for the hell of yelling to hear your voice. You can't be a guy who just wants to meet just to be meeting. You have to be a good teacher, a good listener. You have to have a firm hand, hold your guys accountable, but you also have to have that positive reinforcement. Pull a guy aside, give them some room to grow, if you will. So it encompasses all of those traits, man. If you're going to be a good one and you do it for a long, long time, and the guys have to be able to trust you. I got to know that you have my back, and you got to be truthful with me. If I ain't pulling uh, my my part, tell me. If I am, tell me. If I'm getting too damn big for my britches, tell me. And that's another thing my high school coach did. I was getting too big for my britches, man. So I'm playing tight end and linebacker. And so I'm on offense this particular play. He tells the safety what the play is. It's me running a drag. Quarterback throws it high on purpose. Safety hits me right in the gut. You ever had the wind knocked out of you? I've
Of
had it
course.
twice. You think you're gonna die, don't
You think
you?
yeah,
It's over. It's a wrap. You
yeah.
think you're gonna die. So he hung me out to dry because I had gotten the freaking big head, and Craig Ross nailed me, man. And it takes those type of coaches. But did I sulk and blame him after I found out what really occurred? No. He was teaching me a lesson, man, and I trusted him. And hell, he'd already made me a pretty dang good football player.
You just listed off so many things, so many attributes, so many elements of being a good coach. I'm amazed some of these guys and girls, we're talking all sports here, actually get it right. Because I've had a lot of great coaches in my life, like you. But I will say, if anybody asks me, I have had more bad coaches than I've had good ones. Like that's
Yeah.
navigating that, I think, is the real hard part. How do you overcome a bad coach?
Wow. Um,
See, my
I
rule
think
used
I'm
to
the
just
opposite.
go ahead.
I think I'm the opposite of you. I think I've had more good ones than bad ones. There have been some where it was the moment was too big for them, the job was too big for them. I can think of two. One was with my tenure with the Scottish Claymores, and the
Well,
other.
yeah, that was probably some guy who was working nights at some pub. He wants to be a linebackers coach. That's probably what that was.
Dude, for the game, it was so bad. I started calling the plays. This
Yeah, I'm not
went to
surprised.
the sideline. He was all
I don't even
flustered.
know if that should count.
Everybody.
I don't think that guy should even count. We should just, it's like in school, you take out your worst grade and your best grade, and we'll just take the average. That guy shouldn't count.
We're gonna grade on the curve. One of the guys, he's no longer with us. I had with the Raiders. God, I just actually it was two. I just didn't get them. They were different, and so how do you overcome it? You have to keep your eyes on the prize, man. My whole goal is to make this squad. So I am going to continue to work hard. I will compartmentalize what it is this guy is telling me because I don't agree with his approach. And that's how, especially as a young player, and you still attempting to earn your keep. I mean, you're always trying to earn your keep, but you're fresh in the league. You're not a high draft pick. You don't want to cause any friction. So that's how you have to deal with it, man. You have to just make the main thing, and say, "Hey, I'm gonna overlook this," and try to find some positives in the situation.
So have you ever had to go talk to a coach about playing time? And what was that conversation like?
I had to go talk to. I'm gonna go back to high school, and this guy was, especially his wife and his son, were still tight to this day. And I was tight with him, but for some reason, when I was being recruited for football, I'm taking all these trips during basketball season. We got sideways, and I could tell he was holding a grudge against me, wasn't playing me as much, and this, and taking little shots at me during practice. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I went and snitched to the principal. Coach McWilliams tripping. So I didn't have a talk with him per se following that, but the principal did. And we got along to get along. But I don't think I've ever had to, in my playing career, sit down with a guy and advocate for more playing time or what have you, or anything of that nature, especially at the professional level.
Yeah.
You know, they're gonna
Yeah.
do what they're gonna do.
Yeah, mine is the who, what, why. I've used this before. I have found that if you pose a direct question at a coach, you give him no wiggle room because
Yeah.
I see it in youth sports, I see it in college, I see it in the pros too. It's weird. Sometimes I don't think these grown men or some coaches are comfortable with uncomfortable questions. The job requirement, one of them is that like, you just have to answer the question. I always wonder why they don't want to answer the question sometimes. Just tell me. If nothing's working, just tell me. Right? Don't
Well,
bullshit
it's
me.
difficult, right? It's difficult for some people, and whether we're talking the sports space or we're talking in business, whether we're talking relationships, those conversations are tough to navigate for a lot of us. So I wouldn't just point at coaches. I think it runs the gamut across different categories, man. It is hard sometimes to just express yourself in a truthful manner to the other person, especially if you're not happy with their performance.
Yeah. I don't think there's a difference between coaches in the pros or college or than a guy that's running some Fortune 500 company. They may be a CEO, but in the end, they're just a coach. They're trying to get the most out of you. They want to be more
Right.
profitable. They want you to get more clients, raise more money. I don't think it's a different. You cover college football a lot. You've been in the business a long time. And current coaches right now, who are some guys? Now, thank God you can't say Nick Saban anymore, and you can't say Bill Belichick. Take the two best out of the equation. Everybody uses them. Who impresses you right now in pro or college, really in any sport, and why?
I don't this time of year I don't get to watch a ton of Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
Truth be told, I see
yeah,
snippets here and there, and I'll snipe at my Dallas Cowboys
yeah.
when I get a chance. Um, you have to be impressed with what Jaden Daniels is doing with Washington. So, do you give that
Dan
credit
Quinn
to Dan,
or
or do you
Cliff
give it
Kingsbury.
to Kingsbury?
Yeah,
Yeah, give it to Anthony Lynn, who's an offensive head coach there as well. And so I couldn't give you. You know, I like Dan Campbell's approach. Tell
mm.
you the truth, I think
And why?
he is dang good. He's a former player,
Yeah,
so someone who's walked in your shoes. As we were saying earlier, he's going to be hard, but he's going to be fair. He's a tough-minded player, and that's how you have to be to play this game, to be in this business. So I like his approach and everything I've heard. And Aaron Glenn, who's their defensive coordinator, another uh, perennial All-Pro when he was in the league. So guys who have gone through the fire, that doesn't necessarily mean they're always the best coach, because there are plenty of us former players who couldn't coach our way out of a paper bag. But there seems to be working. And what I've heard from the inside, someone that used to be on that staff early on, um, it's been confirmed that they're pretty good, cool
yeah. You
caliber.
know why I like Dan Campbell? He's one of my favorites. Not because he was a former tight end. They're the toughest guys on the field. It has
Yep.
nothing to do with that. Is if you go back to his press conference, biting a kneecap, all that stuff, people are laughing at him, joking at him. He didn't care. This is who he is. This is what you're going to get. He's not fake at all. It's not some persona that he's not acting. This is who Dan Campbell is. And I think players really respect, they can set their watch to him and what he says and what he believes in. I think that's such a big part of coaching is just who are you? Who are you really? Don't be afraid to show me who you really are. And I think he just doesn't care. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. He cries, he laughs, he jokes, he threatens, in a joking way. That's why I think his team loves him.
No, 100. I feel you, man. That's it right there. He's who he is, and I had to have these. I'm sure most folks have those internal deliberations. And early on in my career, I had people pulling me to do this commentating a certain way, be more of a statesman. He ain't no damn statesman. I don't even know if I can spell statesman. So I had to make a pact with myself
Yeah.
that
You'd be
if I'm gonna
yourself.
ever get if I'm gonna get fired, let me get fired being me. And that
Yeah.
doesn't mean you just go out there and just willy nilly, purposely try to hurt
Yeah.
people's feelings or say outlandish
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
No, but your personality is what it is, and so use that to your advantage if you can. So you're spot on. That's why you like that guy's genuine. He's authentic.
Yeah.
You know what you're gonna get. My fellow Longhorn Kyle Shanahan. Kyle's an offensive guy, but he's a cool cat as well. I like the way he operates. So uh, those are, especially Kyle, who I know personally, but Dan Campbell from afar, I would probably lean that way. And I
Yeah.
just haven't paid. I've always liked Pete Carroll and his way of going about it, and it's interesting. And this, Christian, at the pro level, those rah rah guys, they usually don't make it. Because the guys at the NFL level ain't falling for all that, man. I got making more money than your ass. I'm gonna be here longer than you, more than likely.
Yeah.
Get the pom poms out of here, you know. But he did it in such a way at SC, elevated that program, did it in such a way that was genuine. There at Seattle, elevated the Seahawks all the way to a Super Bowl, of course. So he was another one that stands out. And I think Harbaugh at
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I
See, the
like
way you
the way
think
he goes.
about it, the general theme is authenticity. Just to
That's
use
it.
a word that I
Yeah.
probably can't spell, but I pronounced it right. That is key.
Your inflection was on point,
Yeah,
dude. You
I wasn't
enunciate
sure if
so
I could
well.
land that plane when I decided I was going to say that word, but I'm so proud of myself.
Can
That's
I be a
it.
homer? Can I be a homer
Sure.
in college? Yeah, just spending time with Sark here and everything that guy has gone through personally in his personal life. And he is so freaking down to earth, cool to talk to. And I've interviewed him, I've had just personal, private conversations with him. And he's the same guy no matter what. I got in hot water a couple of years ago with some things I had said that were misconstrued on the radio here in Austin. And he called me up. I missed a call, called him back. We had a grand old time, cleared the air, and it was water under the bridge. But he injects his personal hurdles he has had to overcome.
Hmm.
I like that. I like when coaches will sit there and they'll talk to their charges about their life, what they have dealt with and had to fight through and grow through, as my buddy Greg Hill likes to say. So the fact that he doesn't run from it,
Yeah.
that's an authenticity that I love because they're developing young men, and you can't hide this stuff, especially in today's world. We could back in the day,
Yeah.
but you're not hiding anything from them these days. So he embraces it and he utilizes it in that locker room to help these young men he's leading grow.
I knew this would happen. You have officially talked longer than Aaron Taylor. How about that?
No, no
I
way.
am watching the clock. I am
No.
watching my ticker right now because I'm sitting there going, he's going to beat Aaron Taylor. He's going to talk
What?
longer than Aaron
I
Taylor. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. It just means
That is
more
a
work for
bad
me.
thing.
That's not a bad
18,
thing.
man, 18 could talk for two. He could do the whole Saturday show by himself. He doesn't even need us. Oh my goodness! Don't you? Oh, I was just hoping that this is ruined. Cut. We got to start over.
Go get me some knowledge.